Hi, my name is Aaron. In this video, we'll be instructing you on how to do some very basics for Marine Corps Sword Manual. It's not necessarily the most practical information in the world, but it is useful in the fact that out of the 4 branches of the military, the Marine Corps is the only one in which the sword is still actually an official part of the uniform. Now, I will have to modify some stuff a little bit because I don't have the proper belt and the proper sword holder. So you have to work with me and use your imagination a little bit. The first thing that we'll talk about doing is getting the sword out of the sheath. And for that, the command that you would use is draw sword. Now what you would do is you would be standing at the position of attention, which is straight up, arms down at the side, thumbs along the trouser seam, and you would say the command draw. Whenever you hear the command draw, you reach over, grab the handle, grab the sword sheath, and pull the sword out about 6 to 8 inches. And it's helpful because on the Marine Corps sword there's actually an emblem that marks right about the spot where you need to pull it out. So you would hear the command, draw, and you would do that just like that. Draw. Draw. After you get the command draw, you would say sword, and at that point the sword is brought completely out of the sheath at about a 45-degree angle in front of you, and then brought down to the side. It looks like this. Draw. Sword. Now ideally, whenever you bring the sword to the side, you want as little bouncing and as little movement as possible. You want to go straight from having the sword up here to down on your shoulder. You want to make sure that you stand up straight. You don't want to be leaning to the side too much, and you want your arm back along the trouser seam at the position of attention. So, here's how that looks in fast. Draw. Sword. Now that's important because once you do draw sword, then you can do any of the other ceremonial sword manuals. Like if you're carrying the sword as part of your uniform and you come on an officer, you wouldn't salute them with your hand. You wouldn't do a regular, what we would think of as a normal salute. You would salute them with your sword. The command for that is present sword. And that looks like this. Whenever the command present is given, you bring the sword up at about a 60-degree angle. You want to hold it like you're speaking in front of a microphone. And then whenever sword is given, you drop the sword down in front of you to the side. And you hold that until the salute is returned. So, after you've drawn the sword, you'll get the command, present sword. From there, the command to release the salute is order sword. And to do that, all you do is turn your wrist 90 degrees. From here, the command to get the sword back up into your shoulder is carry sword. And all that you do for that is flick your wrist, and the sword comes right back up on your shoulder. Carry sword. And again, you want as little movement and as little motion, as little hesitation as possible. So, here's how all of those commands would look and actually flow together. You're standing at the position of attention and you say, draw. Sword. Present. Sword. Order. Sword. Carry. Sword. And these are just some of the basics about the Marine Corps Sword Manual and how it's used.